We have to go by the laws. We can't move in the National Guard. I can call insurrection, but there's no reason to ever do that. Even in a Portland case, we can't call in the National Guard unless we're requested by a governor.
Thank God it is finally time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
Rachel, go on and on. There's no hurry.
I've been looking forward to hearing what you have to say in your A block tonight all weekend long. I cannot wait.
Well, you know, Rachel, in 2020, when Donald Trump was in what was then his failed re-election campaign for president against Joe Biden,
he didn't win.
He in an interview with George Stephanopoulos, he very specifically said the president cannot just send in the National Guard to any state.
We have
the
laws.
The governor has to request it, and the president cannot just send them in. And he said, I could, something like, I could call an insurrection, but, that hasn't happened. And so he's on record, of course, saying exactly the opposite of what he's now doing, as he has been with so many things. But this one is really quite striking. I think
the difference between when he was talking about that then and what he's doing now is that whether or not he remembers what he once knew about how America works, he's decided that he's throwing it all out. Dictator from day one, and gonna terminate parts of the Constitution, and he's decided that it doesn't matter what Congress does and it doesn't matter what the courts do, that he's just the strong man and he's going to be, in for another term in 2028. I mean, he's decided to throw out all the rules. The thing that has done, as far as I'm concerned, is make him very boring, because it's like it's all on the table. We know exactly what he's doing. We know exactly what his intentions are. He's blonde Berlusconi. This is just, he's just trying to do the same thing all the other strongmen and would-be dictators do all over the country. I think the really interesting question is what the country lets him get away with. And we're seeing a really interesting test of that right now all over the country, especially this week.
And we're also seeing the difference between the advisors he had in the White House the first time and the people he has now. He obviously had a White House counsel in his first presidency who was telling him, no, it's illegal. You cannot just send in the National Guard. The governor has to request it. And now he has people telling him whatever he wants to hear, whenever he wants to hear it.
Yeah, I think that if we can intuit what he's being told, I think based on the pattern of his actions, we can probably intuit that what he's being told is, yeah, it's illegal, therefore go do it. I think that the more laws he breaks, the more blatantly unconstitutional things he both proposes and tries, I think the more they think power accrues to him because he's less constrained by things that don't actually stop him. And so ultimately, the courts are pushing him back. Congress, to a certain extent, is pushing him back a little bit, although I think a little bit more than they're given credit for. But mostly it's the people pushing him back. He's deeply, deeply, deeply unpopular and underwater on every issue. And he is absolutely panicked by the protests against him, to the point where he's already playing the biggest cards that he's got, and he's not even 6 months into this term.
Right.
I just think, I think we're getting the test really early, and I think that he's failing.